Every parent wants a child who can take a knock and get back up. A child who doesn't crumble at a bad grade, a lost game, or a falling out with a friend. We tend to picture resilience as a kind of toughness, something a child either has or doesn't. But the science tells a warmer, and far more hopeful, story. And it lines up almost exactly with a value that Sikhs have lived by for centuries. It is tempting to think some children are simply made of sterner stuff. But researchers don't describe resilience as a fixed trait stamped in at birth. They describe it as the interplay of a child's genes and their experiences. As Harvard Center on the Developing Child puts it, resilience is an ability that can be strengthened or weakened over time, in response to what we live through. That single shift changes everything for a parent. If resilience were inborn, there would be nothing to do but hope. Because it is built, every ordinary day becomes a chance to help build it. Sikh tradition has never treated steadiness of spirit as luck of the draw, either. It prizes a relentless, hopeful spirit, an optimism that does not depend on everything going well. Harvard offers a simple, vivid picture of how resilience works, a balanced scale. On one side, life piles up hardship, stress, loss, fear. On the other side sit protective experiences, a caring adult, a sense of belonging, chances to feel capable. When the protective side outweighs the hardship, the scale tips toward resilience. When hardship overwhelms it, the scale tips the other way. And here is the good news: we can add weight to the protective side every single day. We cannot always shield a child from hardship, and we should not try to remove all of it, but we can keep stacking the other end. Guru Arjan Dev Ji gives us the inner posture that keeps that scale steady, even when life feels heavy. Guru Ji wrote that whatever the divine wills is good, and that this deeper will lasts forever. It is a quiet act of trust that even the hard things we did not choose can be faced, and need not break us. That is the heartbeat of a hopeful spirit, not pretending hard things are not hard, but facing them while trusting that we can meet them. If there is a single headline from the science, it is this. The most common factor in children who overcome serious hardship is at least one stable, committed relationship with a supportive adult, a parent, a caregiver, a grandparent, a teacher. These warm, responsive relationships do three things at once. They buffer a child from harm, they model how to cope, and most importantly, they help a child build hope for the future. Notice what this is not. It is not toughening a child up. It is not leaving them to sink or swim. Resilience grows out of connection, not isolation. Sikh tradition has always understood the strength we draw from good company. By great good fortune, Guru Arjan Dev Ji sang, "The company of the good is found." For a child, you are their first good company. So is a grandparent who always has time, a teacher who believes in them, the family at the Gurdwara who knows their name. You do not need grand gestures to be that relationship. You need to keep showing up. Researchers call it serve and return. When your child brings you something, a question, a worry, a drawing, a small triumph, you turn toward it, even briefly. You make eye contact. You respond. You ask one follow-up question. These tiny back and forths, repeated day after day, are exactly the responsive relationship the science says builds resilience. Each one quietly adds weight to the protective side of the scale. Here is where many loving parents go wrong. Fearing harm, we try to remove all stress from a child's life. But not all stress is the same. Researchers describe three kinds. Positive stress is brief and manageable: a first day at school, a hard test, a vaccination, faced with a caring adult nearby. That kind is healthy. It builds coping capacity, like exercise for the mind. Tolerable stress is more serious: a loss, a house move, an illness, but it is buffered by supportive relationships, so the child recovers. And toxic stress is severe, prolonged hardship, faced without supportive relationships, that is the kind that can genuinely harm a child's development. Notice the dividing line between them. Almost always, it is the same question: is a supportive adult there to help the child cope? With that support, even hard experiences become survivable, and even growth-producing. So the goal was never a stress-free childhood. It is a childhood where a child meets manageable challenges with you alongside them, and slowly learns, hard things happen, and I can get through them. This means resisting the urge to rescue too fast. The next time your child faces something difficult but safe, a tower that keeps falling, a tricky homework problem, a wobble with a friend, try to stay close without taking over. Offer warmth rather than solutions. I'm right here. Let them feel the struggle and your steady presence at the very same time. That combination, a safe struggle, with a calm adult nearby, is the everyday gym of resilience. You build resilience the way you build anything sturdy, with good scaffolding. A few things matter most. Predictable routines, regular mealtimes, regular bedtimes, a weekly visit to the Gurdwara give a child a stable base. When the world feels predictable, a child has more capacity to handle the parts that are not. Warm, responsive caregiving, a calm adult who meets distress without being overwhelmed by it teaches a child that big feelings are survivable. Safe struggle, letting children attempt things just beyond their reach, then recover from small failures with your support. And naming hope, talking openly about hard times that passed, about effort that paid off, about tomorrow being a fresh start. Sikh history is full of figures who held their spirits high through extraordinary hardship, who met loss and danger with steady faith rather than despair. We do not need to dwell on the difficult details with young children. The lesson they can carry is simpler and truer. We strive to keep hope and high spirits, even when things are hard. That is a story of strength a child can be proud to inherit. And here is perhaps the most freeing finding of all. Resilience is not locked in during the early years. It can be strengthened, or weakened, across a whole lifetime, in response to experience. If you are listening to this with an older child in mind, quietly worried that you have missed some window, you have not. The ingredients do not change with age. An 11-year-old, a 15-year-old, even a grown adult, builds resilience through the very same things: supportive relationships, manageable challenges, and real chances to practice coping. The relationship you strengthen today still adds weight to the scale. A few things to avoid, gently. Try not to equate resilience with toughness, or to expect a child to just cope alone. That is the opposite of what the science shows. Try not to rescue so fast that a child never feels a safe, recoverable struggle. Try not to treat a setback as a verdict on the child, rather than a passing event. Do not assume it is too late for an older child, it is not. And do not force a cheerful face that denies real feelings. A truly hopeful spirit holds hope and honesty together. It names that something is hard, and trusts that it can still be met. Resilience is not a suit of armor you hand your child once. It is something you build together, one steady relationship and one safe struggle at a time, the protective side of the scale stacked a little higher each ordinary day. The science and the wisdom point the very same way. Stay close. Let them struggle a little, with you beside them. Keep the routines, name the hope, and widen the circle of good company around them. And in your own setbacks, model the spirit Sikhs have always prized, facing what comes steady, hopeful, and unbroken. If your child is ever facing serious or lasting distress, please reach out to a doctor or a qualified professional. A steady spirit and good care walk hand in hand. Build the scale a little every day, and you give your child something that will hold them up for the rest of their life.